Ukrainian drones are in the sky 24/7, ensuring that any Russian mechanized or assault actions can be detected in advance and countered. A recent leak revealed details about a column preparing to storm a settlement in Donbass. A poorly organized column of 8 vehicles, dismantled by Ukrainian drones with the support of pilots from surrounding units. In this section of the front, the 117th OMB and the 14th NGU Brigade played a key role. The strategy was clear: aim for the first vehicle, the lead unit. The assault force moved in, and the first to take a hit was the tank, struck by an infantry fighting vehicle to stall movement and gain time. The impact forced the tank to slow, causing the column to maneuver, which allowed a series of strike drones to take flight. The footage shows how the Russians stretched out in response. The next movement began letting the tank pass while targeting the BMPs packed with infantry. The engagement intensifies as external footage from friendly units captures the scene. A direct hit disables an MTLB number 117, which gets stuck in a tree line. The column keeps moving while the Ukrainian drone team continues to destroy it. FPV drones swarm above as the next phase unfolds near the water tower. A BMP marked 117 stops there. It will be revisited later. The lead tank was struck by a FPV drone. A tank and 2 MTLBs try to escape the battlefield. The FPV drone team struck a critical blow. A bomber from a friendly ops unit dropped a thermite incendiary on the tank. Pilots from the 117th MBR were already operating in the area. Soon the National Guardsmen from the 14th Infantry Division joined in. The Ukrainian drone with a thermite payload especially designed to take out armored vehicles makes a direct drop on the disabled tank. One of the 3 escaping Russian vehicles has been neutralized. There is still 2 more targets left, the 2 MTLBs. The 2 Russian armored vehicles are now completely defenseless. One of them, with its rear hatch open after being disabled, is an easy target. Magyar's birds move in and completely destroy it. The final Russian vehicle makes a mad dash towards friendly lines, but the Ukrainian pilots already have him locked in sights, and the drone positions itself low and in the path of the vehicle. Therefore, the Russian driver tries to outmaneuver the drone, but the heavy vehicle makes it slow, and it drives into the ditch, but it slowly countersteers back onto the road. The driver probably thinks he is safe now, but the Ukrainians have a huge stockpile of FPV drones on standby, and they are sent wave after wave towards the surviving vehicle. The last surviving vehicle is again spotted by the Ukrainians, but the distance is causing static in the FPV drone signal. But the drone pilot slowly but surely finds his target. Therefore, the vehicle is disabled. The FPV drones finished their assault, ensuring destruction of enemy positions. One by one, enemy units were systematically destroyed. Here's the final tally. 7 enemy units were hit by aerial strikes. 5 of them were destroyed while in motion. 1 was neutralized through joint efforts. 6 out of 8 vehicles were eliminated. The final strike was the icing on the cake, a coordinated attack involving FPV drones, Magyar's birds, and bomber adjuncts. A job well done by the 117th OMBPR, the 14th NGU Brigade, and all Ukrainian drone pilots. Experience the intense battlefield action as Ukrainian soldiers unleash the power of the American Javelin, ATGM, to crush a Russian armored assault inside Russian territory. A Ukrainian soldier calmly locks onto a Russian tank with a Javelin ATGM. Moments later, the missile hits its mark, and the tank erupts in a massive explosion, leaving nothing but fire and smoke. In just one battle, Ukrainian forces obliterated 3 tanks and 7 armored vehicles, halting the enemy's advance in its tracks. Over 2 days, the Marine anti-tank units operating in Kursk achieved an extraordinary feat, destroying 3 tanks and 4 BMD-4 units using precision strikes with American-supplied Javelin ATGMs. The 36th Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has released footage showcasing the lethal efficiency of their operations. Watch as a Russian Panzer missile intercepts a Ukrainian drone deep inside Russian territory. Notice how the missile flies incredibly low and fast. The scariest sound for a Russian soldier. Listen closely as the drone's ominous buzz echoes above, relentlessly hunting its target. Ukraine's Winchester drone fires dual shotguns at Russian drones. The Ukrainians can hunt down Russian drones in mid-air long before they pose any danger to troops on the ground. The design makes sense. Shotgun pellets lack the stopping power of, say, a rifle round, but drones tend to be flimsy and nimble. The widespread of a shotgun blast increases the chance of a hit, and it might take just a few pellets to catastrophically damage a drone. Unexpected twist unfolds as a Ukrainian drone targets a smoking Russian BTR-82 stranded in a field. The drone slowly positions itself for an optimal strike on the vehicle. Notice the open hatch. Then, its 30mm autocannon erupts, firing uncontrollably for over 20 seconds. Shells spray wildly, cloaking the vehicle in smoke as the gun's damage becomes clear. This is just one of many moments that showcase the strain and unpredictability of modern warfare. A Russian BTR-82, meant to strike fear, instead becomes a fiery, malfunctioning spectacle. January 22, Kursk Oblast. Ukrainian Special Operations Forces claim to have killed 21 North Korean soldiers and wounded 40 others in a grueling 8-hour battle. This footage shows the harsh reality of combat as Ukraine pushes the war beyond its borders. Here you can see a large group of North Korean soldiers moving across open terrain, supported by their Russian allies. Deployed by North Korea to bolster Moscow's struggling forces, these troops are now fighting deep inside Russian territory. For 9 hours, Ukraine's 8th Special Operations Regiment held their ground under relentless assault. In the final moments, Ukrainian troops evacuated in 2 Humvees, leaving behind scenes of devastation. This battle marked one of the fiercest engagements since Ukraine expanded its counteroffensive into Russian territory last year. Ukraine calls them meat assaults. On the front lines, Ukrainian soldiers use a graphic term to describe the Russian tactics they face daily. Waves of Russian soldiers coming at their defensive positions, sometimes nearly a dozen times in a day. Luckily, this one was repelled. Reportedly, 4 vehicles were damaged, destroyed, and between 10 and 20 Russian assault forces were eliminated. A steel predator lies in wait, camouflaged, lethal, silent, as a Russian armored convoy rumbles blindly into the kill zone. The Leopard tank's hunt begins. Who will survive this deadly game of cat and mouse on the modern battlefield? A Russian convoy advances 6 armored vehicles, unaware they've strayed into the hunter's territory. Modern warfare isn't about numbers. It's about who sees first, who strikes faster. The Leopard's crew has 1 shot, a single mistake, and they'll be outgunned 6-1. A 120mm armor-piercing round ignites the morning. The lead tank erupts, a fireball consuming steel. Chaos erupts. The convoy scatters, but the ambush is already a symphony of destruction. Hit and fade. The Leopard's ace, mobility over mass. By the time the Russians regroup, the hunter is gone, leaving only smoke, debris, and a chilling message. 1 tank can change the battlefield. These Ukrainian soldiers were driving to their positions when a Russian fiber-optic cable drone spotted them. Therefore, the passenger had to jump from the moving truck to save himself. The truck had an electronic warfare system, but since the drone was controlled by a fiber-optic cable, it was immune to jamming. Ukrainian soldiers are lying in wait inside these buildings, but they are surrounded by Russian infantry and 2 armored vehicles. Therefore, they call for tank support, which will come later. But for now, they are on their own. As the chaotic situation keeps unfolding, the Russian assault force decides to retreat. But as they are leaving, the Ukrainian soldiers lying in wait inside the buildings fire an RPG from less than 30 meters, causing the BMD to drive into a ditch. The Russian infantry sees a Ukrainian tank approaching from their rear direction, but the BMD is disabled and stuck from the earlier RPG hit. Therefore, they become easy pickings for the Ukrainian tank, which takes full advantage of the situation. The Ukrainian tank, most likely a T-72, unloads 4 shells onto the disabled BMD. This is much needed support for the Ukrainian soldiers that were surrounded. The aftermath of the battle is complete destruction for the Russian assault force. Russian T-90M, worth around $5 million, approaches the front line, but it is spotted by a drone from the Ukrainian 24th Mechanized Brigade. Notice the 2 Russian soldiers jumping off the tank at the last second. The T-90M is completely disabled and burnt out, all from a single Ukrainian drone worth around $500. The Ukrainians want to make sure the Russian tank cannot be retrieved. The Ukrainians take additional measures to secure their advantage. Russian T-80 tank, worth around $3 million, is damaged by a Ukrainian drone. The T-72's defenses are not enough to stop this Ukrainian drone, but the turtle armor added by the Russians make it hard for the drone to hit the weak spots. This BMP-2, one of the lightly armored Russian vehicle, is easily disabled by a Ukrainian drone, but the electronic warfare system on the BMP is enough to slightly delay this drone. Therefore, the driver has enough time to escape the BMP, but he is now stranded and needs to be rescued. Ukrainian soldiers destroyed the control station of the Russian Orlan in the eastern direction with a missile strike. The target was detected by scouts from the 14th UAV Regiment. These Russian UAVs find targets for Iskander missile strikes, This makes them valuable targets. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really does help.
Что ж такое пиздец?
Там ген тут топив.